There isn't much to look forward to in this highly anticipated heavyweight matchup in the NFC North. Who would have thought we would have been saying the Chicago Bears? You got the Green Bay Packers, Chicago Bears showing down this afternoon. I am super pumped up and excited about it. I want you guys to leave your comments and let me know what you think the score of the game will be. I do think the Packers will be about a 10-point favorite. In my opinion, I do think the Packers will come up with about a 28-17 victory here in this matchup. Now, that's 9 points, but I think they will be close to that 10-point margin. I called it last week. I thought the Packers were going to knock off the Detroit Lions 31-21. They win 31-24. That being said, leave your comments. Let me know your thoughts. Okay, so here's the thing. The Packers get some bizarre news ahead of today's matchup. And the bizarre news in and of itself is that the Chicago Bears are on top of the division, but the Packers have a chance to dethrone them. So let's get into it. Okay. So Ben Johnson, newly hired head coach of the Chicago Bears, which totally turned around this franchise. We do know that they were in desperate need of a good head coach. They get Ben Johnson. He comes in and he automatically just feeds into the Chicago frenzy, saying, hey, listen, I loved beating Matt LaFleur twice last year. And I think he's anticipating being Matt LaFleur twice again this year. But here's what the bizarre news uh, that Ben Johnson says about Caleb Williams. Okay, so it says right here in this article that the Bears are currently number one in the NFC North, 9-3 NFC altogether. And while Caleb Williams has certainly made his moments, head coach Ben Johnson went as far as to say that the team is winning in spite of the passing game. I couldn't agree more. I do think that the Chicago Bears they're finding ways to win, and hats off to them. They built this team around a very good offensive line. The defense has struggled at times, but at the same sense, they're getting takeaways, so they're finding ways to win with their defense. But here's the overall stat line on their defense: they're 27th in as a total defense right now. They rank 27th in the league. They're 25th in scoring allowed. They're 28th in defense against the run and 26th in the red zone. Not great, but they are finding ways to get takeaways. And at the end of the day, we remember what Jeff Hafley did last season. At times, their defense didn't look amazing, but they found ways to get takeaways. And you have to get more possessions to win games. And the Chicago Bears have been winning games off their defense, getting takeaways. That being said, they do have a very, very good offensive line. Top 5 offensive line in the league. They've been protecting Caleb Williams, who was sacked a whole lot last season. And now you're looking at Caleb Williams, who, at the end of the day, Caleb Williams is only completing 37% of his passes when under pressure. And here's the thing, the Green Bay Packers put a ton of pressure on opposing quarterbacks. So that's great news for the Green Bay Packers that this guy, not too accurate when on the run. Also, Caleb Williams, let's take a look at his stat line against the Green Bay Packers so far. Surprisingly, we talk about 37% completion percentage, but against the Packers, he's completing 73% on average against the Green Bay Packers, but he's been sacked 3 times, or a total of 4 times, I'm sorry, which is an average of 2 per game. Packers added Micah Parsons. He has yet to see Micah Parsons in a Green Bay uniform running after him. I highly anticipate a few sacks in today's matchup. Leave your comments. Let me know your thoughts there too. So then you've got over the last 10 games of the Green Bay Packers, which, by the way, when we talk about this with this matchup of the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears, the Packers have dominated over the last 20 years. This matchup between these two franchises. But when you take a look at the last 10 years, the Bears come up with 1 win, and that's what we keep saying. That's what I keep hearing from Chicago Bears fans. Like, hey, listen, we won at Lambeau Field. Caleb Williams is 1-0 at Lambeau Field. Well, yeah, you are Caleb. You're 1-0 at Lambeau, but that was with our backups in. So there's a massive asterisk in that win. But the Packers have 9 wins, 1 loss over the last 10 games. You look at Jordan Love and his stat line against the Chicago Bears, it looks pretty good out there. He's got an average of 70% completion percentage. He's thrown a total of 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. He protects the ball quite well against the Detroit Lions or the Chicago Bears. When you're talking about the Chicago Bears getting takeaways, is he going to be able to do that against the? Are they going to be able to do that against Jordan Love, who's protected the ball quite well against the Chicago Bears? So that being said, I think it's absolutely hilarious that Ben Johnson now is like, hey, listen, we're winning games despite our passing game, despite us doing really much of anything in our passing game. I'm not a believer in Caleb Williams. I think Caleb Williams has too much of happy feet. He's missing the easy reads. He's missing the easy throws. He does come up with some really good circus throws at times that gives you glimpses of like, oh my gosh, this dude looks like Patrick Mahomes at times. And then he does what he does, which is just misses the easy targets, which that's a big problem. And he's got happy feet in the backfield, which then leads into sacks. And I do think the Green Bay Packers are going to be putting a ton of pressure, despite Chicago Bears offensive line, who's protected them quite well this year. Again, we're talking about one of the best offensive lines in the league. But I want you guys to leave your comments. Let me know what you think the score of the game will be. I'm not a believer in Ben Johnson. I'm in Caleb Williams or the Chicago Bears or Ben Johnson. The Bears still suck. Leave your comments. And as always, go Pack Go.